lovelies. So I'm outside getting ready to make my drum, and you want to start out with having somewhere where you can get wet. So I love outside, and on the ground is my favorite. You can also use a table and chair outside, or you can do it inside but lay down the draping cloth that painters use. Plastic is recommended. And you can also put a nice big puppy pad or those hospital bed liners because they'll soak up all the water. You can use towels, but sometimes the water can leak through and the water can smell a little bit like hide. And so if it does, you can use vinegar to clean it, or you can even put some vinegar in your water. So you're gonna put your hide in. When it looks like this, you're gonna put it in the water and let it soak for 24 to 48 hours. It can soak for up to 4 days. After that, you'll have to pull it out, let it dry out, and put it back in when you're ready to make your drum. If you let it sit too long, it ruins the integrity of the drum and it stinks, and that's not really fun. So I have my hide that I've let soak here, and you can see it's floppy, and also my lacing. You need to soak that as well. So make sure you're getting both of those done. You're also gonna need a hammer and a spike to poke the holes, or you can use a hole punch if you have really strong hands. I have arthritis, so it doesn't always work. And then pliers also will help. And then I like to use a marker, scissors, just in case you need to cut that hide. Stump that we can poke our holes with, and clothespins are gonna be your best friend. You also have your ring. On your ring, you can take a moment and set an intention. Decide what you want to make with your drum. What is it that you're wanting to infuse in it? When we drum, we're actually vibrating out our intention, our healing, whether it's emotionally or physically. So go ahead and set the intention, and then you're gonna wanna write it on the inside of your hoop. Now you don't have to do this step. I like to do this step. I also like just putting my name, so if I'm at a drum circle, people know which ones are mine. So we're gonna make 16 total holes, but 8 sets. So you're gonna start out by folding your hide in half, taking your block of wood, and you wanna gauge, for this drum, it's about an index finger by an index finger, and you're gonna line that up where the hole is, and then make sure the spike goes through both layers. So we have a nice hole. Let's see if you can see it better on that side. So as you can see, there's one set. So we're gonna do 8 more, and to get them even, we want them fairly even. So we're gonna do it on the exact opposite side. So line it up with a finger and a finger. And again, we've got 2 holes. 2 holes. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sets of holes. Okay, so now our drum, we're gonna lay it out. So the side, there's a soft side and a rough side. So as you can see, that's my rough side, and that's my smooth side. So you want the smooth side to be touching the ground here. Okay, so with the smooth side down, we grab our hoop, and we're gonna put that out. And now we grab our lacing, and you see this end, how it's kind of square. We actually want to cut it so that it's more in an angle. See, now we can thread it through, and then we're going to take this side and do the same. And you're gonna go in one side and out the other, and then pull it to about halfway in your drum. You're gonna tie a loose knot, because you will be untying this knot later. So we don't wanna pull super tight. It's just to give us an anchoring start point. So as you can see, I went in one side, out the other, and I've got a nice loop right there. And then I'm gonna watch for knots, and I'm gonna find the other end of my string. And I'm gonna take this lacing, and see I've got the sharp end on that as well, and I'm gonna take it to the opposite side, going in one way and out the other, and then back through. If you have a hard time grabbing your lacing through the holes, you can feel free to use a pair of pliers. Sometimes it can help. I have a bit of arthritis in my hands, and so it helps me pull just a little bit easier. And then you're gonna pull that all the way through. Just like that. Okay, so then we're gonna find our end once more, checking for knots. And then we're gonna go underneath our ties. So always go underneath because it helps to lift everything else up. We're gonna go underneath and across to our right. Now, if you choose to go to your left, that's just fine. We're basically gonna lace the lacing all the way through so that we have this crisscross pattern through our whole drum. And if your lacing ends up being too short or you have two pieces, all you have to do is tie a knot and bundle it together, trying to make the knot stay in the center, and you can continue lacing. Okay, so then I'm gonna take my end and I'm going underneath and I'm gonna go to the one on the left on the opposite side. Out and in. What you're gonna do for your handle is we want to find our center and pull them all in. And then any twists and turns, you're going to find your original knot that we had our start, and you're now gonna untie it. And you're gonna take that short end, and when we find our center, this loose one is my long piece. There's my center. I'm gonna take my short end, weave it underneath, and loop it over on the equal side. And you notice how instantly it's gonna pull all the others back. And see, this one's crossing weird, so I'm gonna put it through there because we don't want any of these lines to be touching. So there's another one, but I'll fix that in a moment. Okay, so I have my open short end, and then I have my long extra. And so I'm gonna take my extra, and I'm gonna loop it under. Now, if you get to this point, and then I'm gonna loop it through that one that was crossing. So if you get to this point and you notice it's way too loose here, then I definitely recommend you go through and tighten it between your loose end and your long end and revisit all of these pulls to make sure that it's the tightness you want. You do want it a little bit looser than not, so you can see there's a little bit of bounce, but it's not touching the drum head on the inside. That's kind of the thickness you want and the tension. Then I'm gonna double knot the long and the short together, just like that. And then I'm gonna tuck that short one, and it's about to disappear. So if you don't like the knot up here, you can just push it down and pull the hide lacing, and then it can go underneath. So see, just like that, now there's no knot. So next we create our handle. So you can decide if you want to do handle with maybe wings and just do 2 and you grab it in the middle, or you can decide if you want to do 3 and section it off, or my favorite is 4 because it ties in with all 4 of the directions. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to take my long lacing and I'm just going to loop it through and then use it to join 2 sets of lacings, paying attention to all of the turns and the twists as I go. Lacing all the way up. And you'll notice I'm leaving a little bit of space in between because I want my lace to go up and then come back down. If you are short on lacing or you want to have it be one continuous wrap, you can cut it and tie a knot and then just tuck it back in.
But for mine, I'm gonna try and do this with one continuous piece, because each time you cut it, it does have the potential to leave a sharp edge. Okay, so that's about as high up as it's gonna let me go. And then I'm just gonna loop back down. So I did a little crisscross right there, and then I'm pulling my lacing as I go down. Now most of this will be covered by leather later, so you don't even see it. And I use the leather just for comfort, but it also will hide any imperfections in the handle. So it's okay to give your OCD a break here because it's not going to be perfectly even. I mean, it can be, but it takes hours and hours and hours. And it doesn't affect the sound or the healing of the drum. Okay, so then I'm crossing over my handle, and then I'm going to go up the next handle. I've got a little bit of a twist there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to slide my lacing in between like that. So it kind of pulls it a little bit apart from each other, and then I'll continue the lace. And all that will be hidden. Final handle that we're going to make. And if you notice that these are sliding down or they're not holding, you can put a little clothespin on the end to hold it while it dries. Okay, and so you're going to cut any excess. And then you're going to loop a knot. So for this part, I'm going to take and create a little hole here. I'm going to slide my end through, creating a nice knot space. And then I'm going to pull and tuck that loose end up underneath. So see there, you can kind of see that's my little end poking through. You want it to disappear and fused with the rest of the lacing. And I am going to put a little clip just to hold it in place so that it'll dry that way, because I don't want to be poked. And it's going to hold it while it dries. Okay, so then now we get to go through and smooth out our sides. You can see there's my handle all formed. And so to smooth out the sides, just decide how you want the folds to lay. It will dry just as you lay it. And I'm going to leave these clothespins on for about a couple hours, just so that the hide can have a chance to start drying out and get a nice, good shape. If they start popping up again, then I am going to clip them back down. Now you don't have to clip them. I could choose to have them wide and open, and that is also very, very beautiful. So this is a tip. If you feel like it is very bubbly around here and it's ripply, you can take some fabric or ribbon and you just pull it around and then fit in a nice tight knot. That's it. So you're gonna
going to allow your drum to sit to dry about 3 to 5 days. It depends on how thick of hide you use, how thick your handle is, and if you did any intricate lacing, and also what type of animal hide you used, because that's all going to delay the drying time. The best way to dry it is inside, out of the sun, in a cool area. So a pantry, I have a back room, but avoid any sunlight, avoid using a blow dryer, avoid applying heat, because if you apply heat, what it does is it pulls too fast and it can tear. So what we want is a slow, easy drying for the best quality sound and to have it last for years and years and years and years. It's also very important that you take the time to review the care instructions for your drum. This is what's going to help it to last the longest and to keep it from changing its sounds dramatically. Avoid going near the ocean and without rinsing it off afterwards, because that salt can get in and it can change the sound. Also, you want to make sure you're conditioning it and hydrating it as you travel or as the climate changes. So for more information, feel free to reach out to me, Holly Hope, at hollyhope.com or thebeautyofperspective.com. So now you get to sit and practice patience. Good luck. Happy drumming.